Hello, Clarice. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm Hannibal Lecter. I'm Fat Sajak, and I also might be Hannibal Lecter, but without the cannibalism. I don't know what that means. Anyway, hi. Official coffee cup of Sat Fajak. And dyslexia. Hi, how are you? Are you good? Good. I'm about to ruin your whole day. It's 9:44 a.m. Do you know where your kids are? Me either. Actually, I do. They're downstairs. Today, I hope to be the last time I speak about Joshua David Evans on this channel. I'm not even going to bother to catch you up. I'm going to tell you to go to the Colleen Ballinger playlist that I have linked down below and is probably in the cards up there somewhere. Josh chose to post a video recently where he said that he was leaving the internet in a video titled "This is Goodbye." In true people who say this is my last video fashion, he made a really long community tab post yesterday that a bunch of people sent to me and asked that I talk about, so if the people demand it, I will talk about it. Unless it's about Amberlynn Reid and the Girl World thing. I don't think I have the attention span to get into all of that. I know a lot of you have asked of that from me, though that wasn't words. The moon is full, and the moon is in Capricorn, and I am a Capricorn. None of that is relevant, but it is true. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to stay up to date on things you may or may not care about. That's what I do here. There are also sometimes things I may or may not care about. I also got a really weird sunburn yesterday. I also have a Patreon, whomst I have been semi-neglecting this week because of Joshua David Evans, so he's impeding me from doing my work. But not for long. I've got a full-length feature film going up over there. Not mine. We just watch nostalgia content. So that's happening soon. You can join over there for $1 if you like. It's a hoot. Enough self-promo. There's also a bunch of links in the description of ways to help out folks around the country who are struggling because things are just terrible in most ways. So if you are like, hey, I'd like to help out, communities that may not be my own, or communities that are my own, or communities that may just need extra help because the government is making everything a living fucking hell for people, there are links down there. Anyway, in the meantime, let's talk more about somebody I didn't know existed until, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. To put this in the most succinct way possible, oh, by the way, I read a comment in my last video from somebody who was like, wow, you're all over the place. I'm gonna go elsewhere to get this commentary. I wasn't offended by that, and so many of you were so lovely and said that that commenter was an idiot or whatever. I was not offended by that comment. Like, I get it. So I do appreciate your kind words, though. You're all lovely, and I love that you're here and that we all have a little bit of a scatterbrain together. And also, like, I'm used to it because ever since I started making commentary content, people have been like, you talk so slow, or like there's so many pauses in your videos. And the thing is I think people on social media are so used to like a really fast-paced, fast-talking kind of commentary situation. Like, they're used to getting everything really quickly. And I went to clown school, not literal clown school, but I went to Second City, and like I have a deep-rooted, my background is in comedy, right? So a pregnant pause is purposeful, usually, in these videos. But sometimes it's just my brain leaking, but most of the time a pregnant pause is in here for a reason. I value timing and silliness over succinctness and quickness. So if that's not for you, I get it, but I'm not changing a goddamn thing here. Anyway, let's get into it. So, in the most succinct way possible, Adam McIntyre didn't outright reveal that Josh was somebody who was prodding him into doing a documentary on Colleen Ballinger, but he alluded to it, and people were able to sort of suss it out a little bit, especially after Josh revealed that it was him and then got mad at Adam because he claims that he like exposed him and spoke ill of him. And he basically dragged out this whole scenario for weeks while neglecting his actual client while he was a YouTube manager. And this YouTube client, Gavin Reads It All, came forward and said, hey, you're withholding my funds and I need those to live, and you're not responding to my emails that I'm sending you with my concerns. And basically Josh was just being very inappropriate when he would respond and making his personal issues everybody's issues. And this all led to Gavin being released from his contract and ultimately Joshua being fired for, I assume, just being a shitty employee and not very good at his job. This led eventually to the video that we talked about last time, which was his departure from the airport internet. That was supposed to be it, but apparently he wasn't done talking. So I think it's very important that we sit down and talk about this today. I also wanted to talk about really quickly before we get into Josh's long-ass community post. Yesterday morning I saw on Instagram that Gavin had posted, by the way, if you want if you're new to this and you want all the actual details, there's like I said, a playlist. I'll link it below. I'll just link all the videos. That way you don't even have to go to the playlist. I'll link the videos that these things are in so that you, for easier access to my long-winded ramblings. I'd seen that Gavin had posted an update to his Instagram. This was like post Josh's "This Is Goodbye" video. So I wanted to read that before we get into Josh's long community tab post. So Gavin says, I was going to make a video to respond to Joshua David Evans, but I desperately want to be able to move on with my life. I want to return to and focus on making videos, and so a video response doesn't feel right to me right now. Totally fair. I hope that a text response will be enough to bring some closure. Well, it was enough for Joshua to think he was bringing an apology. So Joshua David Evans has uploaded a video to his 1.1 million followers on YouTube titled "This Is Goodbye," where he announces he's leaving the internet due to the backlash he's received online due to his own actions. Period. That is an important point. In the little pinned comment, he literally says like, "Oh, you got rid of." He literally says like, "Oh, you got rid of me." No, bitch, you got rid of yourself. It's called the consequences of your own actions, my guy. However, you would not get that vibe from just his video as he continued to seek sympathy. I've had a day to think about everything and I think I can speak now. I will always appreciate when someone says sorry. To me, it's a powerful word and one I will always have gratitude for. It allows me to validate my own feelings and experiences that I've had, and it's something I always try to say myself whenever I have been in the wrong. I'll even say it when I don't feel like I'm in the wrong because I know how much it means to the other person. Stop doing that, Gavin. You stop doing that. Don't apologize. Don't apologize if you don't have something to apologize for. I mean, unless you hurt somebody and they're like, I'm hurt. Then apologizing for hurting them, even if it wasn't, you know what? Just you're doing fine. You don't need my advice. What do I know? I don't want to sound ungrateful because what Joshua's given me is way more than he's given anyone else he's harmed throughout his tenure on YouTube and beyond. How can I possibly be upset at receiving the word sorry when there are many, many, many people who don't even get that? But I am upset, and rightfully so. I don't think Gavin is in any way wrong for feeling upset about it. Had I received a private apology with acknowledgement of everything I emailed him about, then I wouldn't have an issue. Yeah, this is what I said in my video. It was like, okay, you want to do the notes app apology thing to Gavin. That's one thing if you're just showing that publicly you apologized, but that has to come with a private apology then. Otherwise, you need to get on camera and say it with your whole fucking face and chest. Bring the kittens if you have to, whatever you gotta do. Instead, he has uploaded a video that frames himself as a victim of internet cancellation and drama, that he had good intentions with his involvement in a documentary absolutely nobody gives a shit about anymore, period. No one cares. No one cares, and I know I skimmed through the community tab post. I didn't read it all, but I know it opens up with the same fucking story about the same fucking documentary and the same fucking interactions, and I'm about to have the same fucking stroke that I've been having for the past 2 weeks. Says he lashed out at me as his client because he was feeling things and he's sorry for it. Says he didn't set out to hurt anyone despite admitting to purposefully goading people online. Literally, he literally said to Gavin in writing, I'm trolling online on purpose. I'm paraphrasing, but it was pretty close to that. That some people aren't, quote, looking for truth, and it's a losing game anyway, and he was just a kid who loved making videos and more. Yeah, he really infantilized himself with that one, which is weird, because again, his entire tenure as a creator online has been in adulthood. I appreciate that I got 3 slides in his PowerPoint presentation. I feel like he maybe does mean it when he apologizes, despite throwing a subtle dig at Adam in the process, because he can't just apologize to me without making it about someone else. That, in and of itself, says that he doesn't mean it. I don't think. Or he's never actually had to properly apologize for anything in his life. But there is no context. He doesn't say who I am. He's thrown my name out there for his YouTube audience amongst a narrative that he has essentially been bullied off the internet. Yeah, that's so true. I didn't even think about it from that perspective. But, like, what about the half of Josh, you know, what about the portion of Josh's audience who don't know what's going on, you know, that are far too employed in the real world to know what's going on? No offense to those of you who know what's going on. I just insult my audience. But yeah, what if people are not on YouTube very much? They don't know what's going on. And here he is creating a sob story narrative about what happened and why he got fired, and just putting Gavin's name out there and linking it in his description in a passive aggressive little note that people should go subscribe to him. I could absolutely see where there's negative feedback for Gavin from that. Like, that's bullshit. Makes me actually a whole new shade of angry. You've gotten rid of me. I accept that. Now, how can I accept an apology that is drowned out by a presentation that will lead his audience who don't know me on a pity party parade that will go, "Aw, Josh, don't let the bullies win. You didn't deserve this. The internet is so cruel." Yes. And there are a few of those comments in his videos that are like, "Wow, people are so shitty, Josh." Like, yeah, except it's Josh. And, like, I feel like Josh stands with, like, a mirror in front of him and says the same fucking thing. Like, "Oh, Josh, people are so shitty." Let me fill in that missing context you didn't provide. I was Joshua David Evans' client. My mom's texting me. Gavin didn't say that, I did. Josh, you led me to believe you knew me and my identity before I signed a contract with you, and then tried to change everything about me. Yeah, that's an MCN for you. You used ChatGPT when I asked for help with video suggestions and thumbnail ideas. I think he also is using ChatGPT to write these, like, long-winded nonsense emails and posts and shit. You canceled the meeting with me citing the merger, when in actuality you sidelined me to focus on a documentary on your ex-wife. You ignored various emails so I would go days without a reply, or sometimes I wouldn't get a reply at all. I begged you for help and laid my heart bare when I revealed my struggles, and you cruelly kicked me when I was down and deflated my self-esteem. I am still rather embarrassed and humiliated that I shared something so vulnerable with the world about my poor decision-making when it came to accepting management, and that it was leading me to financial hardship. I just want to say, Gavin, if you're around, but to anybody who has experienced, like, a similar thing, the purpose of a lot of these companies, I'm not saying like all MCNs, but like certainly like a lot of the offers and a lot of the propositions that come to independent creators are meant to be predatory, and they're meant to sound very lucrative, and they're getting better and better at it. I genuinely don't think that Gavin has anything to be embarrassed about in this avenue, because I feel like it's not like, it's very different from like a grandma getting scammed from somebody who's asking her to buy like iTunes gift cards. They don't make iTunes anymore. God, I'm old. But buying like Amazon gift cards or whatever, you know, for a scammer that's like, you know, holding her hostage over the phone. You know, it's not like that. It was an understandable, I don't even think it was an error in judgment. You know, you were given a credible name, and you know, Josh was the one at fault here, period. Josh fucked this up, not you. So please don't beat yourself up about this. But I will not kick you while you are down. It's because you're a better person than he is. I've repeated over and over that I do not want anything bad to happen to you. I'm sorry it'll happen this way, and I'm sorry you've been fired. My heart does hurt for you, but I can't overlook the emotional manipulation you've exhibited up to this point, and even in your final video and pinned response. I can't accept the apology, but I appreciate that he said sorry. That is a strong sentence right there. I wish he would say sorry to the people he's hurt over the years, especially Adam McIntyre, who's been treated so horribly, and it was a huge target of Josh's own hate campaign against him. It was this hatred toward Adam that Josh admits caused him to be rude to me, despite my problems arising before his issues with Adam started. Yeah, I pointed this out last time, but like Josh tried to make it like, oh, my personal problems and my professional life clash, and it shouldn't have been that way. No, this was happening to Gavin before the stuff with Adam. Thank you, Josh, for acknowledging that, but there was still so much to acknowledge. I hope Josh is able to remain off the internet, too late, and truly find some peace. If he ever wants to reach out to me privately, then I will be sure to keep that private. His public apology, I feel, deserved a public response from me, so I can share my feelings and feel like I've had a say in everything that has happened. Ow! My foot! I hope we can have some closure from it all. Finally, I've already said thank you to everyone who's made videos speaking up about the situation and those who have sent lovely messages and donated to my Ko-fi, but I need to say thank you again because you've changed my life. So many of you were so generous that I'm able to cover my bills, not just for this month, but for so many months to come while I still wait for my May payment, which should be soon. For the first time in at least 10 years, I'm debt-free. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's amazing. That's so exciting. I will strive to show my appreciation every single day of my life and for as long as I am on YouTube. You've all proven that you are a positive influence and community of people, and I don't want anyone to feel like you've driven someone off the internet or that you bullied anyone. It's simply not true. Someone wasn't able to handle the consequences of their actions. In the process, you've helped me beyond words, and I'll never stop saying thank you. Sending so much love to you all. You all deserve the world. Yes. That's amazing. That's amazing. This is the positive that's come from this situation, right? You know, so many people in my comments have said, like, one of the best things that's come out of this is that I found Gavin's channel. And I agree. It's really nice to see justice for Gavin and consequences, honestly, for Joshua. Again, I don't want him to suffer either. I don't want people to suffer. I don't want people to be unemployed and financially struggle. I don't want any of that. But if you're not doing your job and your not doing of your job is deeply, profoundly affecting someone else and their livelihood and their ability to do their job and their ability to exist, then you don't need to have that job. I hope you find another job that you're actually good at. Sincerely, Josh. Not Gavin. Gavin's already good at his job. I do also want to note that the Do We Know Them podcast covered Joshua David Evans yesterday, or the day before. I don't know when it actually came out. So I know that this was probably a touchy spot for Josh. There's a history there. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Either way, it's not really that important to what we're about to read, but I do think it had a hand in the energy behind it, perhaps. So let's read Josh's community tab posts. After seeing how the internet is responding to everything over the last couple of weeks, I wanted to make myself extremely clear about what I choose to leave as my final words. Again, we always have to get the last word. We always have to just reiterate, just to be heard. FYI, blanket statement, y'all. You're not always going to be heard and understood in life. And that's life. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. The stark difference between Joshua's determination to be heard in a certain way that paints him in a certain light and Colleen's absolute, like, non-need to scream from the rooftops that she's not a child groomer in those words explicitly, insane to me. Like, if I was Colleen Ballinger and someone was like, you're a child groomer, and I sincerely believed that I was not, I would be doing this. I would be doing what Josh is doing. I'd be making 9 million posts to make sure that everyone in the fucking world heard me. Cue eye rolls from Adam and those like him. Meaning what? What does those like him mean? Does it mean other drama channels and commentary channels? Does it mean the muckers? As for Adam McIntyre, tagged. So we want to make sure Adam sees this. Because God forbid, you just leave him the fuck alone while he's at VidCon, bro. I stand by every single word. Well, good for you. Even the ones about responding to everything he's ever said about you. I was naive enough to trust him. Okay, this is someone who you met when he was 12 and you were in your 30s. Just to put that in perspective. I think someone said that Adam is still younger now than Josh was when Josh and Colleen were speaking inappropriately with young people. Still younger than Josh was. I have a twitch in my left eye. It's driving me nuts. I was naive enough to trust him. He just keeps contradicting himself. In the last video, it was like, Adam didn't reply, and that was fine with me. And it's like, okay, was it? Are we sure? This is someone who went from being a teenage bully to pretending to be an ally. First of all, teenage bully is weird to say out loud. Still, so this tells me he's not hearing feedback at all. It's weird that Josh refers to Adam as a 12-year-old bully with an army. If I had $1 for every time a joke was made about that, I could fall to my knees and start sobbing. That's weird. He was a kid. Again, I understand kids that age are fucking ruthless and awful and mean. And I believe Adam has admitted to being that way. But you were a full adult. Again, I have 2 8-year-olds and they bully me all the time, but it'd be a cold day in hell before some fucking 12-year-old on the internet made me feel bad about myself. They're 12, dude. You're a grown man and you were then. And pretending to be an ally to whom? To you? The person who was married to the person who groomed him as a child, acting like you're holier than thou, like you were above it all when you were a full-on participant in much of it, to spending years maintaining what I thought was a consistent understanding of mutual respect and casual support. Even if there was a consistent understanding of mutual respect and casual support, that doesn't mean that Adam has to agree with or like everything you have to say. That's not what that means. He's allowed to vehemently disagree with the things that you want to do, even if it elicits anger from him, even if he doesn't like you anymore. Like, the only person who has made this a problem is Josh. He is continuing to reheat these same fucking nachos, and my God, they are disintegrating before our very eyes. Like, the reality of him, he's reading these things, he's reading how the internet is responding, but he's not listening to anything that anyone is saying. And the proof is in the next sentence. To be absolutely clear, I never agreed to be in a documentary. We heard you. Every single time you've said this. Josh, I really want you to hear me. If you're watching this video, you don't have to comment, you don't have to do anything. Just listen. We heard this. We hear you. We don't care. Nobody gives a fuck about the documentary, my guy. Nobody cares. Not a single person. Not one. We don't care. And we never did, okay? We know you weren't contractually signed on to this documentary. We got it. We got it. You were in talk. I don't even have to read it. Here, I'll cover it. I don't even have to read it. You were in talks and you felt safe, right? Because you had some off the record calls. We got it. We heard you. Repeating yourself doesn't change the outcome. We're not withholding our big reaction to the I never agreed to be in the documentary thing, or to any of the documentary discourse. We don't fucking care about that because it's not the problem. I wasn't trying to make a comeback and I didn't want to make YouTube videos again. Okay, good. Then go away. I was living a quiet life. Okay, then go back to that. All I did was have 3 entirely off-the-record conversations with some people who were potentially considering a project. We know. I was excited about it, and out of pure courtesy, I reached out to Adam. Out of pure courtesy. How is it that you are regurgitating the same information, and yet every time you're adding something a little bit more to make yourself sound like the hero, or the victim, or the sad guy, or the offended party in some capacity? As a courtesy? As a courtesy. What a weird way to put that. I reached out to Adam privately to ask if he wanted to be a part of it. Girl, we know. If he had just told me it was a bad idea, I would have listened. But why do you need him to tell you this? I understand Adam's involvement is probably the hinge of the entire thing, and it probably wouldn't have moved forward without him anyway. If he had just told me it was a bad idea, I would have listened. He doesn't, nothing, you could have, if you still thought it was a good idea, you could have just continued. If you yourself found it a bad idea, you could have pulled out because, again, you were not contractually signed on. Whether or not Adam thinks it's a bad idea and whether or not he communicated that to you is irrelevant. It is irrelevant to everything. Yet it is the thing that has launched 1,000 ships of stupid. I do not understand why this is such a problem. For the amount of times that Josh has regurgitated the same information, I still don't understand why Adam not saying anything is such a problem. Take it as a no and move on. Understand where he's coming from as a victim of grooming from your ex-wife. Understand where he is coming from. This was never going to be the Joshua David Evans documentary. Whether or not he was promised some kind of producer credits for getting Adam on board or whatever the case may be, this was never going to be the Joshua David Evans show. It was never going to be about him. I trusted him. Why? Clearly you were not friends. Even if you were at a place of understanding and mutual respect, you weren't friends. You had a hand in the grooming of Adam as a child. I'm not saying Josh groomed him directly. I'm saying he was married to the person who did, and he was also having inappropriate conversations. He was also talking to minors. He also had young girls in a hotel room. I mean, listen, you're not, just because you had a moment of absolution from the swoop doc or whatever, does not mean that you were cleared of any wrongdoing. It does not mean that Josh did nothing wrong. And certainly doesn't mean that Josh is the victim of anything right now. We could have talked it out and none of this nightmare would have happened. No, none of this nightmare would have happened if you just shut the fuck up. If you just took Adam's non-answer as an answer, as you should have, and moved on, it would have been fine. This would not have been a conversation past the initial Rachel Ballinger is mad at me or whatever that video is, where Adam initially talked about the documentary. People would have continued to guess who it was and they would have fucking left it. They would have left it alone. I know that much to be true. I'm on the internet enough to know that that would have been the case. The only reason this blew up as big as it did is because Josh opened his big mouth over and over and over again. And yes, Adam is a commentary channel. He's going to commentate, especially if it affects him directly. You are not owed a lifetime of Adam McIntyre's respect and loyalty and friendship because you guys were on okay terms after being married to the person who groomed him. Instead, he chose to completely ignore my message behind the scenes. So, riddle me why that warrants all of this. He took that private courtesy. It's not a courtesy. You didn't do him a courtesy. You didn't do anything for him. Flipped the entire script and decided my real life was better used as malicious content. Well, now we're just straight up making things up. I sat there like an idiot. Well, I imagine that was happening anyway. Utterly dumbfounded, watching him rewrite our entire dynamic in real time. He literally commented on the fact that you keep saying things like we had this mutual respect and we, this feeling that you felt like y'all were closer than he thought you were. And I'm sorry, but him revealing that Josh burned a bunch of important mementos of Colleen's and then having his sister clean it up, whether that's true, I don't know. These are things that he was told by Josh directly, according to Adam. Look, if you're gonna cut somebody at their character for simply not responding to an email, for simply not responding to your courtesy, maybe you shouldn't have been confiding in a teenager. Maybe you shouldn't have been confiding things about your marriage and abuse and reactive abuse and emotional torture that you and your ex-wife seemed to engage in together. Maybe those are things you shouldn't be telling young kids. I don't know. What do I know? I just possess a moral compass. What kills me is the sheer duplicity of it. Back in 2020, he reached out. So now we're exposing Adam McIntyre because he didn't respond to an email. And then dared to be upset because you continue to drag this out. What kills me is the sheer duplicity of it. Back in 2020, he reached out and apologized to me for everything he did. We didn't become best friends, but we absolutely made amends. We were chill like that during the height of the Swoop documentary in 2023, but from that moment on, it felt like a real shift. It wasn't just online support. We finally met in person. When we finally met in person, he introduced me to his mom, and we all got together after the dust settled just to connect. Yeah, well, I wouldn't blame Sinead if she trudged through the dust to kick your ass. And this still feels really weird. Again, you were talking to this child, regardless in what fashion, when he was 12. Initially. 2020 was 6 years ago, so he was still, what? A fresh 18? This is such a weird standard to put on a young early 20-something who was a child through most of your interactions with him. And also putting this on him emotionally is insane, because if you would please take a moment to remember that Adam's trauma comes from being groomed by your ex-wife, Josh. Making him emotionally responsible for your feelings is weird, but I can see where you and Colleen got along. They'd gone out and grabbed a plate of light snacks like fruit and veggies, and none of us touched it because our nerves were running so high. Soon after, he made a video playfully laughing about how we didn't eat the food, and I even commented back to apologize and say we were all just incredibly nervous. We were casually friendly like that. It was real, it was respectful, and it felt safe. Okay, these are weird things to say about a stranger in general, but again, someone you knew when you were in your 30s and they were 12. I know that this did not happen when Adam was 12, but that perspective I feel is pretty necessary. How do you go from that to a live stream pulling a complete 180? Being upset about being prodded into doing a documentary. Whether or not you knew that he had already been approached is irrelevant. He hopped online to publicly shade me and the people I love for even considering that project. First of all, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. In the initial video, he didn't even say your name. And then when it became known that it was Josh through his own big fucking mouth, the only person who has never shut up is Josh. The only reason anybody knows that his wife was involved, or his friends were involved loosely, I guess, in this documentary was because Josh said so. Nobody has shaded Josh's wife or Josh's friends. And people who are shading Josh, Adam included, online, publicly, are the people who can see his actions and his words. Or ChatGPT's words, I don't know. And when that wasn't enough, he kept making videos, doubling down day after day, entirely intent on destroying my character. I don't think that's the case at all. I think you wouldn't shut up, so Adam has a right to respond. I don't think Adam has really made a video in this past few weeks about Josh that wasn't a response to Josh, the things he's doing and saying, so... Intent on destroying your character. Again, the only thing I can think of is him talking about Josh burning Colleen's personal mementos. And, look, I'm not a fan of airing people's dirty laundry, but if you weren't telling your dirty laundry to a fucking 12-year-old, maybe, I don't know. If he's got information like that, maybe you should sit with how he got that information. I didn't cover that story because I didn't think it was necessary. I think Josh is doing enough of destroying his own character. But, I mean, again, if you're going to confide shit like that in a kid, you're going to make a child your marriage counselor, you're both going to put him in the middle of this emotional, of your own, like, emotional tumultuousness, and you're going to expect, what? Abject maturity and secrecy? Having a 12-year-old keep secrets? Having a kid keep secrets for you? That's, like, the first thing child predators do, is tell you, like, oh, don't tell anybody, you know. So... Anyway, that was when he brought up VidCon. You brought up VidCon. See you at VidCon, bro. Anyone? Sunflower emoji? Throwing it out there like some final proof I was creepy the whole time. Oh, past VidCon. Sorry. Maybe he did feel creepy. You know, it's kind of like when a woman wishes she said no to having sex. And, I mean, this is obviously an extreme example, but like, you know, I didn't want to have sex, but I did, so he'd shut up, you know. I think a lot of women have had that experience, unfortunately. And it doesn't mean that you enjoyed the sex or like, oh, I guess I was enthusiastic about it. No, you could have still felt really weird about it. Adam still could have felt really weird interacting with Josh. He told his audience that I pulled him away from everyone, insisting we had to go outside, and then talked his ear off for an hour. I don't remember hearing that, but I guess I'll take ChatGPT at its word. Anyone in their right mind knows I'm not the one to say, let me grab you and pull you away from everybody so I can talk to you alone. I was there for work. I saw him, tapped him on the shoulder, and thought we ended up having a really genuine interaction that day. I never asked to leave the group we were standing with. You were the one who suggested it, Adam. You said, let's go outside, not me. Yes, these are the semantics that matter. The way he depicts it now is insanely immature and manipulative. Sorry. I'm sorry. What? He's being insanely immature and manipulative. Okay. I could sit here and dissect every single little thing you went and made videos about after this whole documentary fiasco that you created. Who created? I'm sorry. We're being gaslit now into believing that this was Adam's doing. All of this nonsense was Adam's doing. Okay. I could pull apart every single lie and tell the real side of the story, the side where things didn't happen the way you claim. Then do that. Then do it. Because you want your name cleared so badly. You keep saying the same shit over and over again, but you're not gonna make a 50 paragraph clarification about all the things Adam is lying about. Okay, sure thing, pal. You got it. But you sure want your viewers to think it did. Because I sure do think that Adam was really like reaching into the recesses of his soul to resurrect Joshua David Evans from obscurity just so that he could make a handful of videos about him. for some reason. I don't know. I can't follow AI's logic. All of a sudden, after years of being completely cool, you rewrite history. Because that's what Adam does. The exact moment he thinks what you're doing doesn't fully align with what he wants, he makes a note of it. And eventually, you just become content. Brother, I'm begging you to shut the fuck up. This is literally a vendetta against Adam. Like, this is pathetic. This is embarrassing. I broke when he decided it was okay to drag my wife. No one dragged your wife. No one. No one. I have not seen a single person drag your wife, Adam included. Not a single one. Not a single one. Nobody. Nobody has dragged Pamela. And my childhood best friend into his fictional narrative. You dragged your best friend and your wife into this narrative. You put their names in your email. And no one has bashed them. People have thought that it was a little weird that they're involved, considering, they weren't involved. But I don't know what it is you think you heard. I am human. I reacted. I defended the people I love. Against what? Against what? What do you think you are defending them against? Because nothing happened. So, and because I dare to act human, I am sitting here jobless. No. Nope. What we're not gonna fucking do is this. This is not happening. And I want you to, oh boy. You are sitting there jobless because of the decisions you made. Joshua David Evans. Josh chose to expose himself as the person Adam was talking about, when in reality, if he had just shut up, nobody would have continued talking about it. Josh then continued to leave long-winded comments, intimidation comments, also sent them to Adam's DMs, insisted that he was never going to stop talking about Adam until he's responded to absolutely everything he's ever said about him, admitted to the client that he was neglecting as their YouTube manager, that he was trolling on the internet on purpose, goading Adam into responses, all while this YouTube's client's funds, money that they'd already earned, was being held with no discernible release date to said client. And who knows how long. I mean, we know how long it had been going on with Gavin, but we don't know how long it had been going on with other clients, if it had been. So you're jobless, Joshua, because you weren't doing your job. And the parts of your job you were doing really badly. You let Adam's frustration with something unrelated to you directly, his frustration with the documentary itself, which again, no one cares about the documentary. You let his frustration with the documentary eat you alive. You took it so fucking personally that you're now making shit up that didn't happen and having a pity party for yourself in the unemployment line after you chose to not do your job correctly. You were a piss poor YouTube manager. You fucked with somebody's livelihood who has a platform. And in no way did Gavin ever come out of the gate disrespectfully. He showed us every email that he sent, still being respectful to you, being respectful about you, as we just read. He is still being respectful about you. The fact that you have the audacity to come here and blame losing your job on acting human, excuse me? One day I would love to come back with the full audacity of a mediocre, straight white man. Watching the entire world dunk all over my name like hyenas tearing at bones. Well, you're not actually watching it, because if you were watching it, you'd be listening to it. And if you were listening to it, you would hear that there was a lot of criticism. And in most of us who have been hypercritical of you, we have all said, we don't want you to hurt yourself. We want you to be okay. We want you to take care of yourself. Nobody really wants you to lose your job, but you can't keep a job that you're not doing. If I worked at a gas station and went out and had a smoke and then set the place on fire, I would imagine I would lose my job. You know what I'm saying? Now to Gavin Reads It All. I know also tagged. So these are the people we want to see this. I know I've already said this, but I want to apologize here publicly too. Well, you should also probably privately apologize. I signed you because that was my job. Nice. The 90-10 contract split was discussed openly and entirely agreed upon over multiple discussions. He didn't say he was surprised by it. He said he regretted it. You were only 2 months into a 12-month agreement when the internet drama with Adam started unfolding, and you decided to respond by dropping a novel of complaints, trashing everything I've ever done. No, that's actually untrue. What he did was respond to the things that you sent him by saying, this doesn't work for me. Gavin also made a lot of excuses for Josh in in ways that I don't even think Josh deserved. You know, he credited, you know, maybe these thumbnails that I asked for weren't great because of the quick turnaround time. And the reality is they have a team of people. There's no reason they couldn't have gotten a good product to him in a timely fashion. It wasn't a novel of complaints. Like, he was your client. It was your job to address the things that he needed. Otherwise, what are you there for? What are you taking 10% of his income for? Complaints were not personal. And also, he had said himself that almost immediately, the things that he was looking for was not what he was receiving. He didn't want a BetterHelp sponsorship, right? Like, he didn't want to take some fuck-ass sponsorships that he didn't align with. He signed with Josh because he felt like Josh was more personable, that he understood Gavin and his content and where he was coming from as an individual creator. And when that didn't work out, he asked to be released. Literally, the tiniest portion of his email where he asked to be released, the tiniest portion was like, I see that you're going through it online. I hope I'm not adding more to your plate. To which Joshua responded with a long-ass email, which was 90% about his drama with Adam that Gavin didn't ask for, didn't care about, didn't want to know about, and was highly inappropriate to send to a client. See, and the thing is you can't start addressing someone by like, I really want to publicly apologize to you.
You sent me all of these complaints. Like, you emailed me like I was supposed to do something for you.
If you're going to put a but at the end of your apology, it's not an apology. And also, a novel of complaints trashing everything I've ever done? No, it was criticizing the things that you're sending him because that's something that would effectively become part of his brand and his channel and his content. If he doesn't like it, he's allowed to say that. He's paying you 10% of his fucking income, you dumbass. A few days later, I responded to you. Yeah, keywords, a few days later. You should have responded to him immediately, by the way. I responded to you without empathy and became rude. Yeah, I think that's an understatement. You also were inappropriately oversharing things about your personal life. I said things I fully regret, but I was human. Doesn't matter. You're also, you're not anymore, but you were an employee. You were supposed to be doing your job, not showing people how humans work. Also, there's a whole lot of like, I was human for someone who uses so much fucking ChatGPT. But I was human, Gavin. I felt like I was getting hit from every imaginable angle of my life and I snapped. That's not Gavin's problem. Ever. It's never going to be Gavin's problem. It's no one's problem. That's Joshua's problem. That's a problem you deal with at home. You don't bring that shit to the office. Snap cost me my livelihood. You took my response, made a video blasting it, and turned it into content. He took your response, made it into a video because you were not responding and you had his money. That's the truth. Studio 71 had his AdSense revenue. I'm not saying they were holding it hostage. I'm saying it left him in a precarious position where he did not know when he would be receiving payment. He opened up his fucking heart to you and said, listen, this is the itemized list of shit that is due. I need my fucking money and I at least need to know when I'm going to be getting it because bills won't wait because you're mad at Adam McIntyre. Literally get over yourself, you fucking asshole man baby. Let's be real, if I had been any other corporate manager, someone without a public history, without a target on their back, without years of drama attached to their name, you never would have made that video. Okay, Gabby Hanna. Josh entering his Gabby era. Good for you, girl. Alexa, play Special by Gabby Hanna. I never stole from you. No one's saying that you're stealing, but you showing no empathy or consideration or even acknowledgement. The fact that Gavin himself was put in a financially precarious position because Studio 71 can't give a payout date. Like, you can't even acknowledge that. You can't even empathize with that. You can't even acknowledge it at all. Like, really? It shows that, like, Josh does not understand the problem. He still doesn't fucking get it. Channel's been fully released and your funds have been sent. Yeah, he knows that. He got an email from someone else. And then your email. Wasn't even the one receiving the small percentage of your funds in the first place. No one thinks you were taking his money like the fucking Hamburglar and running away with it. Again, very clear you're missing the point. But I do remember a channel optimization discussion where I told you that you needed to find viral moments and somehow tie them back to your book channel so those views would trickle down and help build your audience out. Sage advice from somebody whose exit video got 20,000 views in like 4 days. Well, I'm glad the predictable mistake of mine was able to give you that exact viral moment, winky face. This is part of your apology. Don't feel any ill will toward you. You're a piece of shit. Your reaction was human too. You were put in a terribly bad situation. You absolutely don't deserve any hate or negativity from me. Then why is he receiving it? Then why are you handing that to him on a silver platter, human? His reaction was out of desperation. Do you think there's joy in sharing with the public an itemized list of the things that you have to pay for that you can't pay for because the company he works for won't give you a timeline of when you'll receive your money? Do you think there's a lot of dignity felt in that? Now, obviously, Gavin has nothing to be embarrassed about or undignified by. He came to the conversation with a level of vulnerability that, like, I can't even imagine doing unless it was absolutely necessary. How else was he supposed to reach out? Every contact in the Studio 71 portal led to nothing. There was no one else that he could reach out to. He did what he had to do, and he got it done. And now you're jobless, and it's not his fault. And I refuse to let you make him feel like it is. And it's not Adam's fault. The responsibility lies with Josh. You're a man in your 40s. You're responsible for your job. You're responsible for doing your job and doing it correctly. Nobody else is responsible for that. You're responsible for your own emotions. It's your responsibility to get a journal. The truth is, the company acquisition happened and we just weren't able to give you all the resources I so badly wanted to give you. No, the truth is you weren't answering his emails. It's not the company's problem. It's not the company's fault. It's not Gavin's fault. It's not Adam's fault. This is you are not taking accountability, or you are not owning any part of this in any way. This is pathetic. This is fucking pathetic. I genuinely believe that in a few months' time we would have reached a place where we could have done something great together, but we never got there. Well, oh well. I'm truly sorry for my part and how it ended. No, how about I'm truly sorry for my behavior. I was inappropriate toward you. I brought you into something that I shouldn't have, and I was careless when it came to your account. How about that? How about own something? Take a real accountability. Try it. I dare you. But I've always believed in you and your content. Go rock your thing, man. The fuck does that even mean? I wish you nothing but the best. Clearly. It really reads that way. If your opinion of me comes from watching gossip channels, picking my actions apart, reaction videos, and people who only know weaponized fragments of my life, nothing I write here will change your mind anyway.
Hey, so before old Crazy Eyes here finishes these thoughts, I just want to note that I just heard this, how it was written, which was in the context of talking directly to Gavin, and I would like to say, fuck that. With a big fuck that. What an insulting, disgusting thing to say to really anybody. Personally, I thought it was a disgusting thing to say in sort of a larger blanket statement kind of way to whatever audience was paying attention. But I believe Gavin said several times in his own video that he had watched Josh's videos and Adam's videos. So I really didn't pick up on this the first time because apparently Josh didn't hear that. So, ew, gross.
Again, I pointed this out in my last video. I respond directly to Josh. So if you're coming here watching me as a commentary channel, I'm giving you Josh's own words. I'm giving you Josh's own videos. I'm giving you Josh. And you can make a decision for yourself because you're an intelligent audience full of people who know how to think critically, because that's the audience that I've built. So if my opinion alters your opinion, that's probably because we have similar opinions. We probably would have anyway. A lot of the things here are very objective. Surely there are things about this that are subjective. But a lot of things happening here are just objective fact, coming from the mouth of Josh. I'm not changing the context of any of this. I'm not altering any videos. I'm not cutting out any words, getting Josh's words verbatim and my thoughts on his words verbatim. If Josh doesn't think you are smart enough to come to your own conclusions after listening to me read his words to you, then Josh will always have an audience of people who are less intelligent and less able to think for themselves. Because the audience that you cultivate is based on the way you talk to your audience. I love the people that watch my videos because they are intelligent and thoughtful. The comments in my comment section, even on the last video I made about Josh, the comments in the comment section are all so well thought out. There are like paragraphs on paragraphs of stuff that it's just things that I never thought of. Every time I make a video where I have like some opinion, new opinions on new things or whatever, I'm always like so excited to go to the comments because my viewers often have opinions that I didn't even think of, like things that I didn't even notice or didn't even, come across when I was thinking about this or reading it or watching it or whatever. So if you're not secure in the intelligence of the people who you're listening to, then I don't know what to tell you. Because my audience is very thoughtful. And I'm an asshole, but like I'm also very thoughtful. Like I really try to see everybody's perspectives most of the time. So lumping all commentary and drama channels in, and saying that we're, that treating us like we're some fucking vultures picking apart the flesh of Joshua David Evans, as if we're not all just gonna make our videos, edit them, and like leave the house, and go do something and touch grass, is weird. It's again giving Gabby Hanna very much like, you think about me all the time. No, we don't. And again, I'm giving you Josh's words. So if Josh's words are the thing that make you go, ugh, it really wouldn't even matter what my opinion is. Your level of consciousness is incapable of receiving this, and I accept that now. Sure. You are a superior being, Joshua David Evans. Is that what you want to hear? You exist within a frequency that only you can change. So do you, bud. And the day you open up those fucking ears and actually listen to the things that people are saying might actually be the day where you get the point. I'm no longer auditioning for your forgiveness, and I am done participating in a game designed to destroy a person's sanity. Okay. Good for you, I guess. None of that was happening, but good for you, I guess. This isn't a dramatic exit. Joshua David Evans is over. Well, those two sentences are contradictory. That's what you got rid of. That guy. Nope, we didn't get rid of you. You did. You're welcome to stay. All you have to do is take accountability for yourself, like real accountability for yourself and the things that you did. And stop blaming Adam McIntyre for all of your problems, and stop blaming Adam and Gavin both for the fact that you lost your jobs, and stop blaming drama channels for having opinions about the very public things that you're doing. You have control over all of this. You don't have to leave. I mean, you should, because clearly you can't handle being on the internet right now, and I don't mean that as an insult. A journal might not even be built for this. You might need one of those, like, diaries that has, like, one of those little keys that locks it shut. Feel free to roll your eyes again, but existing here isn't for me. Yeah, no, we know that. Don't even worry. We know that about as much as the documentary story. Like, we got that covered. I'm walking away quietly to build a life that has absolutely nothing to do with this platform, this name, or this version of my existence. Good. Genuinely, I mean that. Good. Because this is clearly not working out for you. It's not good for you mentally, emotionally. It's not good for other people. But, like, make this the end of it. Like, this needs to be the last thing. Just go. You don't have to have the last word every time. The people who actually know me don't need a comment section to tell them who I am, and a sea of parasocial parasites don't get to dictate who I become. No one gets to dictate who you become, regardless of whether you stay or go. All you have to do is live with integrity and be accountable for yourself. It's really that simple. I don't know why we have to overcomplicate this. I feel like I'm reheating my own goddamn nachos at this point. For anyone that reads this days from now, maybe years, doubt it. Be someone who sits in love and stillness. Stop telling us what to... I'm not even finish this fucking sentence. Stop telling everybody what to be, what to do. Your life is not... You're not doing great right now. No offense. You don't need to be telling other people what to be and what to do. Nobody needs your advice right now. Write those notes to yourself in a journal. Couldn't recommend it more. It really does help. I mean, it's gotten me through a lot of my big depressive episodes. But I'm not going to read any of that because nobody here needs your advice. And it's not because we're better. It's because you're worse, I guess. Well, that would make us better. I think it's just like, you're not really in an advice position right now. Maybe in a couple years, maybe when you've actually handled some of your demons and hopefully talk to a therapist like 2 to 3 times a week for an extended period of time. Like, I think maybe then you can maybe share some sage words of wisdom for the things that you've learned. But you haven't learned anything. You haven't even learned what the actual problem is. You haven't learned what your part was in this. You haven't learned how to properly apologize for anything. Learned how to make everyone else not the reason for why things are the way they are, So you got some growing to do. I guess you could say you exist within a frequency that only you can change, Josh. Anyway, he ends this like he's been ending the last couple things with a red balloon at the bottom. So I don't know if Josh is like transitioning into Pennywise or like what the fuck's going on, but I genuinely hope this is the last we hear from Josh for a long time because he needs a lot of time away from the internet. I do wish him well. I wish him a happy, healthy life with his Pamela and the cats and many journals. Like honestly, Josh, open a P.O. box so we can all send you journals. I can pick one with cats on it if you want. I'll even get you the diary with the little key. You know, we can double down on that. Genuinely, Josh, please do some self-reflection because I think you are hugely missing the mark on pretty much everything. And I think you'd feel a lot better if you didn't need to get the last word on everything or need to be right or the victim in every situation. Because, like, look at Gabby Hanna. You know? That's what you want to be? Okay, I mean, I know I'm going to post this video and he's going to post something else and I'm going to have to lose my mind. But I really, like, need to post my video for Patreon. I need to get that finished. So I need Josh, you need to at least touch grass for the week, right? It's the 4th of July. I'm not celebrating it, but like take the holiday off. I'm gonna go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. That's really it. I gotta go. Make sure you're subscribed. Come over to Patreon if you want to. And if not, well, then I just think less of you as a person. Okay, bye.
Face yourself, bitch. And that's art, baby!
Experience pure moods.
I don't expect anyone to listen to me, truly. Regardless of that, this is my personal experience, and I've chosen to share it anyway.
Oh my God! So guess what? Now shut up!